Hey, Crystal, come on, come play with me. We're gonna go in search of the unknown. It's gonna be wonderful.
No, Corey, no! We already did that. It was awful.
No,
We're going.
What? Every role player worth their salt has a shelf like this. It's filled with old books and games, some of which are tied with great memories of epic adventures. Some are for ideas to fill your games with, and others are there just for fun. Let's pull one off and give it a look-see. This one, if it comes out. Ha! This is B1 in Search of the Unknown. And I know what you're saying. You're saying, Corey, you lazy bastard. You just ran this game on your channel. I'm not lazy. I'm ingenious. You see, this thing is still fresh in my mind. It's all sizzling up there. But before we start, ground rules. With any role-playing game, your experience may be different. A really terrible game may be awesome because of the quality of your game master and the others you're with. And a well-written game may be ruined by horrible players. I'm going to look at what I find are interesting ideas presented in the book, and how much work a game master needs to do to make something fun. Also, a lot of these books are old, and you might say, you can't judge these things by today's standards. It was a different time, and we've learned so much since then. And you're right. But, this is a big juicy but here. I want to know if this thing still holds up today. Should you be playing this game? Why, when there are so many modern things out there? Why is this special? And that's the standard I'm going after. So, keep up, let's begin. My copy of B1 is an original. It came from Drive-Thru RPG as a print-on-demand, and it turned out quite nicely. This particular adventure has several covers, but the interiors were all the same. With it, I also got the PDFs for a 5th edition conversion guide and a map pack from the DM Guild, but I'll get into those a little later. Right now, I'm going to start with the aesthetics. The font and format of this book make it easy to read. Sans serif. Lovely. And that's about the only good thing I can say about the interior of the book. The art is laughable, going from melty people to stuff I used to draw in elementary school. That's not to say it isn't fun, but mostly for the lols. It comes with 2 maps, and these maps are the bare basics you'll need to GM. They do have all the information you'll need to run the adventure, but these teal eyesores are not going to get anyone excited. All in all, from cover to cover, you're gonna get an ugly book. But who cares if it's ugly if it runs great? So let's dive into some meat! This adventure is created specifically for basic Dungeons & Dragons. This old book here in particular, but it also works well with the classic Red Box or Rule Cyclopedia. It takes all the ideas expressed in those books about how to create encounters, and it just reinforces them. That's the worst part of this game. Let me explain. The adventure itself is just a list of rooms. It describes the rooms, its significance in the greater dungeon, and a list of traps. That's it. It's up to the Dungeon Master to stock it with encounters and treasures. You do get a list of monsters and treasures they suggest to put in, and these encounters are perfectly suited to low-level characters. This adventure is, after all, levels 1 to 3. Just as an aside, if you are playing basic Dungeons & Dragons, you got to remember, when you go to 0 hit points, you are dead. That is it. Game over. This can be especially hard when you're a 1d4 hit point wizard. One clean hit and boom, that's it. Make a new character. So when I say a low-level encounter is balanced, just keep that in mind. So you have a map, you have your monster list, and it's the DM's job to put it together. Like peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You gotta make it. Do you put orcs here, or you put zombies here? Many of these encounters don't make sense together. Many times it seems like square pegs and round holes. Sure, it's trying to teach a DM how to put together adventures, and that seems like a great skill to have. But how this tries to accomplish it by throwing a newbie into the deep end and hoping they swim? Well, that's not good writing. In fact, Many seasoned DMs will struggle to put meaning to the encounters, and right there, is the most tragic problem with this adventure. Nothing in this adventure has much meaning to it. The rooms themselves have a great feel with good description, but their place within the larger dungeon seems random and strange. Here's a crystal trap made to confuse invaders, but it's at the back of the dungeon, not the beginning where invaders would come from. Why is it here? What's up with all these tiny rooms? There's no description of what they are and why they have so many doors. It's baffling. And if you're playing it, you'll start to wonder why you came into this dungeon in the first place. From paralyzing needle traps to a pickled cat in a jar, there is interesting stuff that curious adventurers will love to fiddle with. The most interesting is a magic rock that can permanently increase a character's statistics by eating pieces of it. How you'd know to eat pieces of it is a mystery to me, but if you're a character that has Pika, you're gonna love this. There's also a room filled with vats of weird liquid. Every one is different, and that will keep your players occupied for hours. From disappearing potions of healing to vats of instant death acid, you're gonna have a good time. One of the bigger misses in the dungeon is this dead-end hallway. There's no real reason for characters to go back here, but if they do, a gate will slam down and they'll be stuck behind bars. If they can't find a way out, they'll die a very slow and a very boring death. That's basically it for the whole adventure. It's just a map you can fill with whatever you want. There's a backstory of two adventurers that created this dungeon long ago, but it's not very interesting. You'll have to spice it up yourself. The game is supposed to be set in Greyhawk, but no one should have a problem fitting it into Forgotten Realms or wherever. Really, it has no impact on the world of Greyhawk anyways. Couple of nitpicks here. There is no box text, so it's up to the DM to provide the sparkling commentary of every room based on the descriptions in the book. You just can't read those straight out, because you might reveal hidden information you may not want to. Also, the map uses Roman numerals, and while I know them, I'm not swift with them. It takes me a while to realize what XLII is. Do you know it off the top of your head? Do ya? Despite all this, I had fun running this adventure. And one of the biggest reasons why is the beautiful maps I got from Realistic Maps. If you decide to run this for your group, I seriously recommend them because they go the extra mile in presentation. Unless you really like teal. I also got Classic Modules Today, which is a conversion for 5th edition. It's a fine little updater that takes some of the guesswork out of some of the stickier problems with the adventure, and for $1, it's perfect for the price. But really, I can't recommend this adventure, particularly for the pointlessness in it. There's no real reason to go to the dungeon. There's no plot. There are just monsters and treasure, making it a true search for the unknown. I give it just a 4 out of 20. Don't make it the first adventure with new players, or it might be your last. Disagree with what I have to say? Tell me I'm stupid in the comments. Hey, see a neat book behind me? Hey, suggest it to me and I'll review it next. Safe travels, adventurers.